A rainbow flag flies high, promising a church where no one is turned away, and the entrance seems wide open. But Bishop Robert Mutsaerts, the auxiliary bishop of 's-Hertogenbosch in the Netherlands, recently walked into one of these inclusive parishes to administer confirmation and discovered a harsh reality. The welcome mat is only for those who agree to leave their Catholic faith at the door. This particular parish proudly announced, "We are an LGBTQ church, a rainbow church." But when Bishop Mutsaerts tried to engage in an honest discussion at the coffee table afterward, he was immediately shut down and canceled, solely for upholding the traditional Catholic view on morality and anthropology. Inclusion turns out not to be an open door, he concluded with brutal honesty, but a carefully guarded gateway. The rawest example of this hypocrisy wasn't the bishop's treatment. It was the fate of a teenage boy. This young man was explicitly asked to withdraw from confirmation preparation because he had the audacity to say that Purple Friday, a national pro-LGBT event in the Netherlands, was nonsense. A child was excluded from the sacraments not for a moral crime, but for having an opinion. This is the brutal reality of the inclusive movement. It masquerades as open and welcoming, but it is just as dogmatic as any traditional believer. The only difference, as Bishop Mutsaerts notes, is in the honesty. Traditional Catholicism openly states its boundaries. Progressivism hides its intolerance behind a banner of love, implicitly excluding anyone who dares to question its ideology. This incident is not an isolated case of poor pastoral care. It is a symptom of a much deeper and more dangerous rot within the mainstream church. Bishop Mutsaerts watched the Catholic Church in the Netherlands collapse precisely because it followed this path. Since the 1960s, the Church has portrayed the faith as ridiculous, he warns. The result of this inclusive strategy is a secularized wasteland where churchgoers have an average age over 70. Rather than attracting the world, the Church lost its soul. In this rainbow church, the sacred has given way to horizontal flatness. Kneelers and communion rails are gone, replaced by top 2000 pop songs and, on at least one occasion, Bruce Springsteen's Because the Night as an offertory hymn. In this environment, a priest even refused communion to a young man for the crime of wanting to receive the Eucharist on the tongue, an act that Bishop Mutsaerts rightly called very clerical, as the priest imposed his own rules on the faithful. The irony is crushing. The so-called inclusive church argues that it must change with the times to stay relevant, but Mutsaerts observes that this approach has zero appeal to the next generation. Young people today, he argues, are starving for blood and guts Catholic truth, for forgiveness, for sin to be named, and for a liturgy that smells of transcendence, not a political rally. The lesson for every traditionalist Catholic watching is this: do not be fooled by the language of inclusion. It is a weapon designed to disarm the faithful while they are excommunicated from their own parishes. True inclusivity does not begin by abolishing boundaries, but by honestly acknowledging them, and then having the charity to dialogue despite those differences. The Rainbow Church failed this test. It kicked out a boy for having a conscience and canceled a bishop for refusing to lie. It is a religion of the self, and like every idol, it demands a human sacrifice. If nothing changes, the faithful remnant will have to answer an urgent question. Will we kneel at the altar, or will we bow to the rainbow flag?